Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's a bit different. I'm not going to be in the gym, but what I'm going to do is go through a more educational side of things. So we talk a lot about the gym in terms of the videos. What we're going to do is focus on your nutrition side of things. So in this video, I'm going to go through a full breakdown on how you would set up your nutrition plan. So I'm going to break it down into 3 categories. So we have obviously the caloric intake, and this is going to be depending on what your goals are. So I know obviously just now I'm in a cut, but I'm mindful other people are just looking to maintain their weight, or they are within their bulk, which, as I say, I'm very envious if that is the case. Then we're going to focus on the macro breakdown. So this is about how much protein, how many fats, and obviously how many carbs. And then we're going to look at, lastly, the peak variables. So this is where I see a lot of people getting wrong. This is something that they focus on straight away. How many meals do I need? How many hours between meals? What supplements do I need to be taking? You can't look at this until you've looked at this. This is your main thing, and this is why the pyramid's set up in this way. For me, this is something that will work time and time again. If you want to obviously be cutting, you need to be in a calorie deficit. It doesn't matter how much creatine, fat burners, or whatever it is you're taking up here, it's not going to affect this. And same as bulking. If you're not taking on enough calories, then you're not going to be getting out of the creatine and the protein powders. You're not going to be getting the muscle that you're looking for. So we're going to focus on this first and foremost. So I'm going to break this down because I've seen a lot of different things online. And for me, when I first came about in the gym, it was just so confusing. So I'm going to give you a simplistic way on just how you can work this out. So I'll shoot to the next. Now we're going to work out actually the calorie intake that we require. So as I said before, work out what it is you're looking to do. So are you looking to lose weight, maintain weight, or, you know, in that gaining phase? So to do this, what we're going to need to do is look at the activity levels of yourself. And for me, you need to make sure that you're being honest. Don't say that you're overly active when you know yourself you're probably not, if you're not doing it consistently week in, week out. So it's broken down, and put the table on the screen so that you can see. So we've got the sedentary, and then we have moderate level, and then very active level. So as I said, this can be confusing. It's pretty simple if you just look at this way. If you have any questions, as I say, don't hesitate to put them in the comments. But for this example, what we're going to do is look at someone that's at a moderate level of activity and someone that is looking to lose. So as you can see here, we're looking to aim times our body weight and times out by the 12 to 14. So when it comes to working this out, I would always err on the lower side. So for me, I'm going to be using the 12. You can always look to, you know, review how your weight is, and then look to slowly increase the calories. But for me, historically, it's not really needed. There's very few clients that I will see gain weight on these calories. So what we're going to do is show you how to do that. Okay, so now on to the nice and easy bit, and that's just to work out what your caloric intake will need to be. So I've got a couple of examples here, first and foremost. So I have a man here, so he's 15 stone, so 210 pounds. So again, we're just using the multiplier of 12 on this one. So that will give him a caloric intake need of 2,520. Then we have a female of 140 pounds, which would be 10 stone. Again, multiplier by 12, that will give them a caloric intake of 1,680. So as I say, you're never going to hit it perfect. What you will need to do once you've set these calories is review it. So take average weighs. So for me, I would take a daily weigh-in. As I've said in previous videos, don't get bogged down in terms of the fluctuations. Weight will definitely fluctuate. It will depend on how many carbs, how much water, how much sleep you've had. If you're a woman, obviously if it's, you know, the time of the month, all these things can massively impact in terms of water retention and how much weight you're showing. So don't be too fixated on that, but take an average and see where you're at. If obviously you've not changed, or if worst case scenario over the average of the 7 days you have increased, then you may want to obviously reduce the calories down further. This is obviously set on a cutting aspect, so for me this will definitely be in a deficit. But as I say, everyone is different, but for the majority of people I would recommend that this will be enough for you to start off with. As I said, previous preps that I've done, this has always worked for me. It's worked for numerous people that I've worked with. So try it out, see how you go. what I'll be doing over the next video is obviously showing you how to then review it. So what I'll be looking to do week on week. When it does come to a fat loss, for me, you need to be weekly reviewing it. So things like how many steps are you doing a day? Does that need to increase? Things like cardio and obviously your diet. Other things can obviously get more of a niche, and that'll be in terms of your training, how much volume are you doing, how much frequency. But for me, that's probably too complex. What we want to do is try and simplify it as much as possible, and that's why we're just going to work on the simplest things. So that's in terms of setting up the diet. So on this one, as I say, we'll start it off. So for the women, we've 1,680, and then we can review it. So what I'm going to do in the next part of the video is just show you how I would then set up the macronutrients. So we're going to be factoring in things like your protein, your carbs, and your fat. Okay, so now we're going to go on and talk about setting up your macros. So as you can see here, we've worked out a caloric intake that we need, and we're in the cutting phase. So first of all, I'll be focusing on my protein. So you want to set your protein out first and foremost. So we'll be aiming for 1.3 grams to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. Second of all, then you will be moving on to your fats. So for me, I would always be setting fat at 20% of your caloric intake. My only cap to that is no more than sort of 85 grams. Fat obviously is something that people will straight away take as low as possible. For me, rule of thumb is no less than sort of 35 to 40 grams. Fat can obviously have a massive impact in terms of your hormones, so we're really not looking to bring that down to really low numbers. Then all it is about setting up your carbs. So your carbs will fill in the rest of your diet. So obviously in this aspect we are looking at cutting. In a bulking phase, obviously this will be slightly different. Things like your carbs will be a lot higher than the rest. So remember, your protein and your carbs will be 4 calories per gram, and then obviously you've got your fat, which is the 9 calories per gram. So what I'm going to do is take you through the two illustrations that we had in the previous part of the video. So we've got the 210 and 140 pounds people. So this will give you a good understanding. As I say, if it's particular for yourself and there's anything you're unsure about, then just drop up a comment. I'll come back on every one of them and I'll make sure that you have the correct data. So for me, this is the biggest part of these videos, is to try and give back. Not everyone has money for the coaches, as I said. So I want to make sure your nutrition is there, along with obviously your training programs. So let's go on and we'll look at the next part of the video, which will be the illustrations. Okay, so now we've worked out what the macro breakdown is going to be. So it's 210 pounds per person, and we've worked out it's 2,520 calories for them to cut. So first of all, as I said, we've focused on the protein. So all we've done is times 1.3 times the 210. That gave us 273 grams of protein. Then for us to work out how many calories of that would be taken away from this, as I've said before, per gram it was just 4 calories. So all I've done is the 4 times the 273, which gives us a combination of 1,092 calories of his diet is going to be going towards protein. Then we focused on the fat. As I said before, we're looking for 20%. So all we've done is take the 2,520, divide that by the 20%, and that gives us 504 calories. So again, all we need to do is per gram of fat, there's 9 calories, and all we had to do is divide the 504 divided by the 9. That gives us a total breakdown of 56 grams of fat per day. Then, as I said before, we just need to then work out the carbs. So the carbs will make up the rest of the diet. So for me to work that out, I just took the 1,092 calories from the fat, added on the 504 for the fat, and then all we have to do is then work out that that's 1,596. Take that away from the overall sum, and that left me with 924 calories. 924 calories, which are all going to go to carbs. So again, just to get the carbs amounts, all we had to do, divide that by 4. That gives us a breakdown of 231 grams of carbs per day. So in total, his caloric intake will be 2,520, protein will be set at 273, fat will be set at 56, and the carbs will be 231. Again, this person is looking to cut, so this is more than going to be viable for them to use. In a bulking setting, obviously these numbers will definitely change, but for someone that's going to be cutting, this is going to be a great starting point. As I said, in the next videos I'll be talking about how you would then review this once you start plateauing and you stop seeing that fat loss. Things like adding in the additional cardio, reviewing these calorie and macro breakdowns. Okay everyone, so that's pretty much it. That's how I would set up my macros, so it's nice and easy to follow along. If anyone does have any questions, just drop a comment. I will make sure that I do come back to everyone. And what I'll be doing next is I'll be uploading another video and be focusing on the meal frequency in terms of supplements and meal frequencies, but also meal timings. If there's anything you do want to see, just drop a comment.